Hello everyone, and welcome back to my second No Man's Sky video. Today I will be showing you guys how to build this ship, which I've modeled after the Rocinante from the show The Expanse. This ship features 3 engines because I wanted to have a good amount of mobility. I know the show only has 1 engine, but I tried to copy the looks of that by having a big one in the center and 2 smaller ones on the side. It's got a lot of room on the inside, so if you are really big into interiors, you can have fun decking out the inside of this ship. I personally don't care about the interiors too much, as long as it's got a refiner and the mission control system. That is good enough for me. But I did actually build an interior for this one, which I will show you guys later in this video. I did try a version of this ship that had mini guns on the sides, and I found out that only 2 of them will actually visually show them shooting, so that was kind of a disappointment for me. So I ended up with this design, which just has 2 engines on the front of it instead of having an engine on the top, 2 on the side, 2 on the front, which did look a lot cooler, but it looked kind of odd when it was shooting and only 2 of them would shoot. So I finalized on this design. This ship has got a ton of reactor modules on it. I tried to squeeze as many as I could in the back, and I hit the limit on most of them. I've got 3 of the Zenith reactors that will increase hyperdrive range. I've got 3 of the Medusa class reactors as well that will increase mobility. I've got 2 of the main shield reactors, which is the Ceto class reactor, and then I've got 1 high energy shield, which will add some additional shield. And on top of the ship, I've got 1 azimuth reactor, which will add rechargeable landing thrusters, so you're able to land, wait, and then take off without having to spend or build a ton of launch fuel, which is nice. And now that I have given you guys my background and overview of this ship, I would like to show you guys the interior that I've built. And let's quickly walk around the ship and give you guys a view of it from the outside on the ground. And here is the front of the ship where you enter from. We've got the ramp into the airlock. I've got some screens set up here so you can kind of monitor the air temperature, quality, stuff like that. Then if we head upstairs, we can get into the really important stuff. In the back here, I've got 4 refiners, which is really helpful. And then really easily accessible is the cockpit. On this right side of the ship, the starboard side, I've got a medical bay, and then if you walk back here, I've got a kind of hangout area with the Star Wars chess table, and then on the other side, I've made it look a little more fancy, and I've got a meeting room over here with a window, so you can have some very professional meetings. And then if we take a look upstairs, we've got a map table, and then we've got the mission radar on the other side. And then if you continue backwards, we've got a nice looking eating area with some seating, and then we've got this one room over here on the right. And on the left, we've got another room that's got a couch and some chairs on it. Heading back downstairs, we can take off and take this baby for a spin. Alright, so first off, I want to show you guys a nice tip. As you can see in my inventory, I have got no of the Corvette modules, and they're all in this Corvette workshop cache. So now, if I show you guys my starship and my freighter, I don't have any of the modules. But then if I go to modify the ship, you're going to be able to see that I can actually still use them. So this is a really great way of conserving inventory space. You don't have to use a starship as a place to store them, and you don't have to use one of your freighter cargo bays as one. So now let's go over to this other workshop and I'll start creating a second one. This is my main save, and since I don't feel like getting all the materials to build an entire second ship, I'm going to set crafting to free, like I told you guys in my previous video. And this is actually interesting. I found out that you actually need to have one corvette module in your inventory to create a new corvette. So if you're wondering why you can't create one, that's why. You might have a ton in your corvette stash and none in your inventory, and you actually need one to start creating it. So let's start off with the landing gear placement. You're going to want them to be 3 blocks apart and centralized because the ship is relatively even front and back. You've got all these habitation modules. I decided not to show me placing them this video because I thought it might be easier just to show you guys a pan around where they're placed, and then you guys can decide which module specifically you want. And also it keeps this part of the video a little shorter. So underneath view, we've got the ramp in the front, habitation module, the top section, and make sure you note where I put the windows in case you guys want windows. This is where I placed them. And now on to the next layer of the ship where I've added all of the reactors. So I was able to fit a lot in here, so make sure you take note of where I was able to put them and how I was able to hide them. So I've got these 3 Zenith reactors connected to the engines because they're kind of squared off and they don't look much like reactors. I've got these shield modules kind of glitched into each other, and I'll show you quickly how to do this. You can, since they're 2 blocks long, one side of it actually connects and the other side doesn't connect, so you're able to stack 2 of them into a 3 wide area. And then to place this Medusa reactor, you just place 2 and then delete 1. And then here I'm going to show you what engines I used. I used the Pyro Drive boosters on the right and left. And for the main center engine, I used the Kino Stream thruster. And moving forward under the ship, I can show you the high energy shield that I placed. This is like a mini shield reactor. And then now I'm going to show you the landing gear decoration, what blocks I used, and how I placed them. These diagonal pieces, I've placed all of them forwards and backwards. They're not going to be sideways like this, they're going to be forwards and backwards like that. It gives it kind of a sleeker look. Here I've got the hydraulics module. I like to place these above the thrusters because it brings a little bit more sense of realism, which I like. I like to try and make my builds as pseudo-realistic as I can. And then in the back here we've got these longer diagonal pieces with the turbine cowling. I like to place these turbine cowlings near the engines because it kind of gives me another sense of that pseudo-realism. And now let's move on to the top section decorations. So I've done one side in the middle, and I'm going to quickly show you guys what blocks I used and where I placed them. So in the middle, we've got these blocks kind of making it taller, and then I've glitched this block into the reactor. You're able to just place this, you don't have to do any fancy techniques. And same with this one. Another turbine cowling on top of the engines, and then more of these angle pieces to have a nice slope into the design. And now I'm going to start building the other side for you, just to show you what blocks I used. I wanted to use these more rounded shapes on the top here instead of the angled ones, because it felt a little too angled to me. What's nice about this block is you're able to just place the photon cannons directly under them. You don't have to do any fancy building techniques, which is nice. And they look good too, so that's always good. On the side here we've got some Vesper cowlings. And here's a nice pan around of what we've got so far, so if you're a little lost, you can look at all the pieces. And let's quickly give it the slick black and orange paint job. So this is actually your default color scheme, just in the metallic, because the metallic makes it look a little more black, and then you get the hints of orange. You may have to take some pieces out to color the reactors. And I'm just going to go inside and make sure that the habitation modules I can't get to are colored. And I felt like the front was missing a little something, so I added a air purifier there. And now I'm going to go ahead and add some flair by painting some of the excess stuff. I wanted to make these guns pop a little bit, so I wanted to paint them red. This red looked pretty nice with the weathered texture. And then I played around with this radar dish and I decided I want it to be just white because that looked the most realistic to me. And I'm going to do the same with the antenna. And then one tip, if you have these protruding reactors, is if you make them metallic black, it kind of hides them a little better because there's not going to be this random orange thing that draws your attention. So if they're all black, they can kind of blend into the background and you won't notice them as much. I'll paint the landing gear that color as well, and also the high energy shield on the bottom. And then I like to make my engines metallic red, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the main one I decided to just paint with the inverted red color, not metallic red. And there you have it. If you copied this tutorial exactly, you've got my exact Rocinante build. And if you watched this just to get some inspiration, that's pretty great too. Thanks for watching, and stay creative, guys. And if you guys got any questions, if you guys need any help, or if you've just got a request for some builds you want to see, leave me a comment down below and I'll probably see it and I'll try and give you guys a response. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching if you've got this far into the video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!